Hey guys, Dread here. Just wanted to give a big thank you to everyone that submitted a story this week. And thank you to my editor, EXO, at WyvernsWraith on Twitch. Without further ado, let's begin. That terrible night at the pump. My name is Andrew. To get you started with this story, I'm a 32-year-old male, and I've been a programmer in Michigan since I was in my early 20s. I have a loving wife and 4 children that depend on my salary because my wife stays at home to take care of them. I'm forever grateful to her and all she has done for me. But at the end of the day, it is also my family that depends on me. One night, after pulling 16 hours to get some much-needed overtime, I pulled over to a gas station not far from my office. It was on a little side road, but it beat the higher prices that much larger places charged around here. I got out of the car and started fueling my car. After a little while, and hearing the sound of the gas like it was a waterfall, I realized that it was inevitable, and I would have to use the restroom before I could head home. As I walked inside, I didn't think much of the place. It had your average chips, soft drinks, and candy all across the inside. I finally settled my eyes on the bathroom and looked to the attendant for help. I asked if I had to buy anything inside, but with his arms crossed, he just tilted his head towards the door and grunting. I took that as a sign to just go. After I finished, I stepped out and saw the cashier wasn't behind the register. I figured he must be restocking the shelves or maybe cleaning up. Little did I know, the bathroom break was going to cost me. I stood outside the gas station, the harsh glow of the flickering lights casting long shadows around me. My heart raced with a mix of anxiety and adrenaline as I realized my car was missing, and the cashier was nowhere to be found. The stillness of the night was suffocating, each passing second amplifying the sense of dread that gnawed at my insides. With a deep breath, I tried to calm my racing thoughts, my mind consumed by worries about my family waiting at home. I knew I had to find answers and fast. As I searched a lot for anything, I found the cashier's car. The silence of the deserted station only added to the weight of uncertainty that pressed down on me. I checked inside the store, and even dared to peek behind the desk where the register was, but couldn't find anything on the cashier as to who he may be or if his car keys were there. I'm ashamed to say I didn't even read his name tag when I had initially stepped inside to ask for the restroom. I called 911 and waited while pacing outside in hopes that the man would return for any reason. It was all up to the police now, as I saw the lights in the distance and that sound of sirens echoing in my head. After the police arrived and took me home, I found myself restless and consumed by my need for answers. The officers assured me they would pursue the cashier and recover my stolen car, but the waiting felt like an eternity. The minutes dragged on as I paced in my living room, the weight of the night's events heavy on my mind. With a sense of urgency gnawing at me, I turned to my wife for support. Together, we made the decision to use her car to see if anything was uncovered by the police. We rang my mother-in-law, and she agreed to watch over the kids. I felt safer knowing she was there for us. I couldn't just sit and wait for a phone call, though, and we headed off. The drive back to the gas station filled me with tension and dread, each mile bringing us closer to the truth that awaited us. As we arrived back at the gas station, the scene was transformed by the presence of police cars and flashing lights. The officers had cornered the cashier, his attempts at escape thwarted because he was stupid enough to return to the scene of the crime. I watched with a mix of relief and disgust as the police apprehended him, the weight of his actions heavy in the air. With the cashier in custody, I found myself waiting for answers, the silence of the gas station echoing with the weight of the night's events. The police conducted a thorough investigation, unraveling everything. They said his name was John. He hadn't been working this particular job very long, but he did have a long string of crimes, which is probably why he wound up at this gas station. It was the only place that would hire someone with his background. I never got a true answer as to why he would steal my car. It seems some people just have something in them that separates those that understand right and wrong and follow those rules. I've been more cautious, realizing it could have been way worse and my family really wouldn't have anyone, and I'd feel awful knowing they'd have to stay with my mother-in-law if anything were to ever happen to me. There's nothing wrong with her by any means, but I'd want them to be happy and have a place to call home. I'll forever be thankful to my wife, and this lesson has brought us even closer together, knowing we'd have each other's back no matter what. Just let this be a reminder that not everyone is who they seem to be. My worst customer. My name is Abby. I'm 18 years old and this is my story. When I first started working at the gas station, I was drawn to the tranquility of late night shifts. The quiet hum of the fluorescent lights and the occasional distant rumble of a passing vehicle became familiar companions in those solitary hours. The gas station itself was unremarkable. Nestled in a small corner between the main road and a residential area, its proximity to both my home and college campus made it a convenient choice for part-time work. However, one night, as I was restocking some items near the entrance, I noticed a figure lingering by the shelves. As I approached, I could see that it was a disheveled man with an eerie expression. His gaze lingered on me in a way that sent a shiver down my spine. He started asking about my schedule and personal life. I felt a pang of unease as I hesitated, unsure of how to respond. When I brushed him off and gave vague answers, he started getting irritated. When his demeanor took a menacing turn, I knew I had to seek help. Calling my manager for assistance, I explained the situation and asked if anyone could cover for me. I hated calling so late, especially knowing he was asleep, but I no longer felt safe. My coworker shortly arrived and relieved me of my duty. Exiting the gas station that night, the darkness felt suffocating, the streetlights casting dim shadows. Despite taking alternate routes, I couldn't shake the feeling of being pursued. Panic gripped me as I realized the man was following me in his truck. I couldn't let him get to me or my family. I didn't want him to injure me, my car, or figure out where we lived. The car was mine. I had saved up from previous babysitting jobs and past birthdays. She wasn't much, but she was something I could call my own. I also didn't want the man harming me in any way or finding out where I live and using that against me. With trembling hands, I dialed the police, my voice barely above a whisper as I told the operator what was happening. Adrenaline surged through my veins as I navigated the streets, torn between leading him away from my home and ensuring my own safety. Relief flooded over me when the police intervened, pulling over the man whose intentions proved to be nothing short of sinister. He turned out to be on the registry and had quite a reputation. The revelation of his dark past sent a shiver down my spine, underscoring the danger I had narrowly escaped. In the aftermath of that night, fear lingered like a shadow, but so did a newfound gratitude for the second chance at life. Equipped with pepper spray and heightened vigilance, I vowed never to lower my guard again. The unwavering support of my loved ones and the community became a beacon of light, guiding me through the aftermath of a nightmarish ordeal. Returning to the gas station, the once familiar surroundings now tinged with caution, I carried the hard-earned lessons from that traumatic experience. Each shift served as a stark reminder of the fragile boundary between safety and peril, yet also underscored my unwavering determination to protect myself and those around me. That seemingly ordinary night had become a pivotal juncture in my life, shaping me into a woman refusing to succumb to fear. Despite the demons I faced because of that fateful encounter, I pressed forward with newfound strength, prepared to confront whatever challenges loomed ahead. As time passed, the wounds of that night began to heal, leaving behind scars that served as a testament to my resilience and patience. In the quiet moments between customers and transactions, I reflected on the journey that led me to this point. As I gazed out into the darkness that enveloped the gas station, I felt a sense of peace wash over me. I haven't given up my bright outlook on life, and I still give everyone the benefit of the doubt. Not everything in this world is bad, but there are those that only have themselves in mind and don't care who they have to hurt to get what they want. Staying in a cabin isn't as bad as the trip there. I was headed up to my father's cabin deep in the Colorado mountains. He had fallen ill, and I wanted to be there for him if anything were to happen. My name is Noah, and I'm 21 years old at the time of this story. I've had a dead-end job for a while, so having to leave everything wasn't so bad. I felt bad for putting that burden on my father, but he is the one that called me, and in the end, I was helping him out, and in return, I got a better place to sleep and free food. What else does a guy really need? After all, it will be nice to catch up with him for the years we lost. After Mom passed, things haven't been the same between us, and I wanted to make amends. If he were to pass, I wouldn't want to regret anything. Anyway, on the drive up, I had to pull over and fill up before arriving at the cabin. When I pulled in, I immediately had an eerie feeling fall over me, but I thought that maybe the chill of the air and fatigue were getting to me. It was snowing pretty hard, so when I pulled in, I was a little grateful that this station still offered to pump your gas for you. As the attendant left his building, I immediately was on high alert, but I gave him the benefit of the doubt. I wish I hadn't. I almost stepped out to offer to pump my own, but when he saw me go to unbuckle, he tapped the hood and gave me a thumbs up, indicating that he had things covered. It didn't take long, and I was on my way. I felt a pang of guilt for writing someone off that was so helpful, but that didn't last long. I soon saw the gas light go off, and realizing there wouldn't be another station for miles, I went to head back, but lost all control of my car. My car started sliding to the right, and I hit a ditch, which left my car on its side. I don't know how long I was out, but when I awoke, there was a solid layer of ice surrounding my car, and my entire body was numb. I felt prickly all over, and felt like this was the end. I didn't have a cell phone at the time, and my hands were doing nothing to break the glass. As I searched the car, I started getting a warm feeling all over, and knew that I was succumbing to hypothermia. The adrenaline was wearing off from my initial wake-up, and I would be running out of air soon. The tears started flowing as I realized that in my efforts to help my dad, I ended up putting my own life at risk. Suddenly, without warning, there was a bright flash of light and yelling, "Hey! Hey! I found him!" Emergency services had arrived and saved my life. I couldn't believe it, and soon I was being taken away to be checked over. After the dust had settled, I was told how I was found, and that despite everything, I was lucky. The attendant that helped fuel my car had also sabotaged the tank by cutting into it before I went on my way. He had followed me in hopes of something even more sinister than just me being stranded, but the road was so bad off that he was stuck and had to call for help. After they had arrived at his vehicle, they asked him what he was doing out this road, knowing that it didn't really go anywhere, and you'd need a good reason to go down it. In the end, he confessed, and rescuers were able to find my car in time. I had some frostbite and a broken arm, but that hasn't stopped me from reconnecting with my dad. Although I still wake up at night, having nightmares about that man and the night in question, not everyone is bad, but there are those that have more to them than what they let on. Let this be a warning to you all to watch your surroundings if you're in the Colorado mountains. Well, you've reached the end. It has been nice talking to you, my friend. Are you going to view once more, or see what else I have in store?